Disney, when we would drop that ball on New Year's Eve, just to make it special and exciting, we would light it on fire and drop it onto a newspaper factory. So smart! Okay. Not sure what brilliant person came up with that idea. It's also where Elvis debuted his movie Love Me Tender, and now you can get mozzarella sticks there. We really like to keep up with the tradition, you know what I mean? On your left, we are coming up on the Good Morning America. The Good Morning America. If you are here at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, you can get a view of Good Morning America right here being taped with all the GMA crew. museum, part hotel now. What'd you get? What'd you get? A hot dog? Oh, classic. And a pretzel. I love the pretzels. We nicknamed the hot dogs. Dirty water dogs. So, you know, maybe take a Pepto afterwards. You know what I'm saying? They're great though. I love a New York City hot dog. Come on. But actually, don't laugh about these food carts and food trucks. Every year, we have a contest for the best food cart and food truck, and you can win up to $1 million. All right, coming up here on your right, this red and white building, that is the Knickerbocker Hotel. Knickerbocker is, of course, the pants that some of our settlers wore at the turn of the century, some of our Dutch settlers. It's also the name for our basketball team, the New York Knicks. That's derived from Knickerbocker. The Knickerbocker Hotel is the birthplace of the martini. Anyone want to guess the man who invented the martini? Tom Collins. No, I'm kidding. Martini. Of course it was martini. Now, one of the main Knickerbocker Hotel was a man named Jacob Astor. You might recognize that name. The Astor family was a very wealthy family that built a lot of developments here in New York City. Sadly, Jacob Astor died on the Titanic. Yeah, Rose wouldn't let him on the door. Isn't that so sad? There was room. There was room. There was room for Jack and Jacob. She was heartless. Rose. Coming up on your right is Bryant Park. Bryant Park was formerly known as Reservoir Square because it was an actual water reservoir for the city. But a man named William Cullen Bryant decided to help make this a public park space for New Yorkers. He was the editor of the Evening Post and a very famous romantic poet. Tons of fun, free stuff to do here year-round. We actually have Broadway shows that do snippets of their shows here. You can see movies on movie night. And here is the New York Public Library. New York Public Library, this is their flagship location here in New York City. Lots of cool stuff in here. In the children's section, we have the original Winnie the Pooh dolls on display. In fact, they ran out of room for all the books inside this library, so much so that they had to dig 3 stories underground, and they have built 125 miles of bookshelves. And I'm really happy to say that New York City rats have a 94% literacy rate. Isn't that great? Good for them. They're so well read. Wow. And they love pizza. They do. As we turn the corner, you will see the 2 lions in front of the New York Public Library over here. They were originally named Leo Lennox and Leo Astor. Astor and Lennox, of course, 2 very rich old white guys that paid for a lot of stuff in New York City. But they were renamed during the Great Depression by Mayor LaGuardia. They were renamed Patience and Fortitude. Fortitude being the one closer to us, closest to 42nd Street. And Patience is on the left there. He named them Patience and Fortitude because he thought those were the qualities that New Yorkers should have in order to get through the Great Depression. Now, I would have called them food and jobs, but that's just me. The New York Public Library, of course, is the famous location of several different movies, including Sex and the City. You remember when Big left Carrie on the altar? It happened right here and he wouldn't get out of the car. Ghostbusters, of course, the first one. And we are making our way down 5th Avenue. 5th Avenue between 49th Street and 60th Street is known as one of the most expensive streets for shopping. This is the original. All right. So 5th Avenue, expensive shopping districts. This is the original location of Tiffany's New York, located on 5th Avenue. Now, at the turn of the century, because there were such expensive stores on 5th Ave, they had a lot of security. So this was actually nicknamed Ladies' Mile because it was the only place for women to go shopping unaccompanied by a male chaperone. Ladies' Mile. Take a look up and to your right, we have the Empire State Building lit up in pink. She's absolutely beautiful tonight. If you like, you can go on the Empire State Building's website to see what the colors annotate. You can actually pay to have a color put up there, which is kind of fun. The Empire State Building was the Empire State Building was Alright, the Empire State Building was finished in 1931. It took 1 year and 45 days to complete. 1 year and 45 days to complete. It is an excellent example of Art Deco design. It stands at 1,250 feet without the spire, 1,454 feet with the spire. The main financier of this building was... Oh, we gotta stay seated. We gotta stay seated. Thank you. Okay. Love the music. That'll be your seat for the rest of the evening. Okay, so General Motors actually kept delaying finishing the building because their main competitor, Chrysler, was also building the Chrysler Building at the same time. So they wanted to make sure that their building would be taller than the Chrysler Building. And they did. They held out and waited till the Chrysler Building was finished, and they beat it out. Chrysler Building stands at 1,447 feet, I believe, 67? Alright, on your right is the Marble Collegiate Church. This beautiful church right here on your right. They are a very inclusive church. They actually participate in the Pride Parade every year right here on 5th Avenue in June. And they also perform same-sex marriages. This is famously where Lucille Ball married her second husband, Gary.
You might be thinking, who is Gary Morton? I have no idea. Okay, Lucille Ball's second husband.
We are making our way down towards the Flatiron District. On your left is Madison Square Park. That is the original location of Madison Square Garden. We are now on our third iteration of Madison Square Garden. Straight ahead is the Flatiron Building. That is, of course, where we get the name for this entire district. It was formerly known as the Fuller Building, but she went on Ozempic and she is looking snatched. Okay, looking good, girl. There were a lot of movies that featured this building, including Spider-Man. And there was a gentleman named Jacob Pickle. What a name, huh? Jacob Pickle, it was his life stream to purchase this building. So when it went up for sale in the 1800s, he offered to buy it for $190 million. But guess what? He was bluffing, okay? He did not have the money, and he didn't have enough to make the 10% down payment. So it was later sold to another buyer for $160 million. And if you do want to come over here to Madison Square Park, that is the original location of Shake Shack. A famous restaurant by Danny Meyer. It started as a hot dog stand, and now there's over 200 locations. All right. Oh, we have my favorite thing. have my favorite thing in the whole world. It's scaffolding. Scaffolding, friends, and of course,
I have a song about it. And I would love to sing it for you. 6, 7, 8. What is that I see? It's a bunch of scaffolding. What is that I see? It's a bunch of scaffolding. It's a favorite part of our city.
people might not think it's all that pretty. If you blink, you might just miss it. It's a great part of your visit. That is that I see. It's a bunch of scaffolding. I know, did you love that so much? You can download it on iTunes and Spotify, and I'm going to put out a dance remix this summer. Yes, get it. It's kind of a bop, right? Kind of a bop. All right, making our way down through the Flatiron District. Can you believe this is my job? I can't either. Oh my goodness.